driver has been paid. We like it here. We got tons to get to. Let's roll some sports in the National Football League. The big story this weekend, maybe the most interesting game, is one that does not feel as though it has the highest stakes. Yesterday, head coach Brian Daboll explaining his decision of benching quarterback Russell Wilson and going instead with the rookie Jaxson Dart against a tough Chargers defense on Sunday. The coach said the decision was his.
It's my decision. We're going with Jaxson. We're going to get him ready to play this week and the remainder of the season. He's going to do everything he can. Russ will be the backup. I don't think any rookie quarterback is ever just ready to play. You put him in there because you think that he's done enough to show you that he can go out there and compete, and he's done that every step of the way. And that's why I made the decision.
Adam Schefter, take us behind the closed doors in the Giants building. What are we doing here?
It was always going to be Jaxson Dart at some point in time. From the night that they drafted Jaxson Dart, Brian Daboll got on the phone with him and said, we're counting on you. And he said that was going to be the best decision you make. Smart man. And so they've made the decision now because on Sunday night, the fans were booing Russell Wilson mercilessly. And they were cheering for Jaxson Dart. And they're playing at home again. And so the energy in the stadium is going to be such that they needed to change the momentum, get a positive feeling going, and they went this way. There was one person in the league who said this to me this week, and I thought it was a fair analogy. They said it's almost like Brian Daboll's been sitting at the poker table in Las Vegas. He's down to one chip. He's taking his one chip and he's putting it in on Jaxson Dart right now. And I think that's sort of where we're at with the New York Giants and Jaxson Dart.
It's really interesting. There's so many tentacles to this, and I want to get Danny breaking down what we can expect from Dart on Sunday. But, Hawk, I thought you made a fascinating point in our meeting this morning that it might be someone who's not even in that building who has a factor here.
Throughout the season, we understood that Jaxson Dart was going to play at some point. And to me, this feels earlier, especially coming off the game that Russell Wilson had against the Dallas Cowboys.
Right.
But when you take a zoom out of the big picture and you look at what Daniel Jones is doing in Indianapolis, he's a top 3 quarterback, an MVP candidate. So now you look at the narrative and say, well, maybe he's better because he got out from underneath Brian Daboll, right? And so for him, he's like, I got to get something in there going. Otherwise, that's going to continue to have a snowball effect about what he can or can't be for a young quarterback that we know has a bunch of talent.
Do the Buzzing guys think this is the last act of a desperate man, of a desperate coach?
I believe so. I think Daboll knows there's more days behind him there are in front of him at this point, and this is a last chip type of situation. It's a very unique move to do it against a top 10 defense coming in and a very hot offense as well. You kind of want to wait to the Saints, but I love the idea. Get him out there, get some juice going, over-celebrate the first down, see if you can operate the offense. Those are the things you're looking for in a game like that.
I think it's a worst-case scenario, though, for the quarterback and the organization. You know, when the moment of drafting him happens, it's like best case is they can get to November, they're somewhat flirting with 500, they're okay, so you get, like, some form of job security, and he gets to sit a little bit. Now it's like, go save us. Go save the organization, go save the coach, go save the general manager. And we just don't have a lot of evidence that this works. That you think back to like Jared Goff and Jeff Fisher, Will Levis and Mike Vrabel. It just doesn't often happen where quarterback that we drafted early, you send them in some way during their first season, and all of a sudden everything is going to be fine. And that's the stress that's going to be left on Jaxson Dart. Is like, hey, you got to go be the savior for everybody with 14 games left.
Almost always, there are very few exceptions, but almost always when an organization says we're going to be patient, we're not going to act with a sense of urgency, they get impatient, and they do act with a sense of urgency. Because they're in that spot that they drafted that guy to begin with. He is the savior. And as much as they want to delay that day and put it off, they can't help themselves.
Right. This is a perfect example of why more young quarterbacks are ruined than developed in the National Football League, because they're not on the same timetable. I said this yesterday, I'll say it again. The biggest mistake they make in football, and teams do it all the time, and it is so preventable that it drives me insane. If you don't marry up your timeline of the 2 most important people in your franchise, meaning your coach and your quarterback, you are destined to fail. You are doomed before you begin. And they've just fallen directly into that trap. You cannot have a rookie quarterback you're trying to develop and a head coach on his last legs who clearly is coaching for his job. Marry those up. I'm not in the business of calling for people's jobs, but if you're starting all over again with a quarterback, then start all over again with a coach instead of putting the coach in a position where he has to, break glass 3 weeks into the season to try and save his behind. Go ahead, Will.
You kind of, it's like, yeah, it's not the right situation for Jaxson Dart, but when you get that phone call and you get drafted on draft night, you kind of know what you're getting into. They went, 3-14 last year? Like, it's just the entire world is burning around the New York Giants, and you know Daboll is on borrowed time. This is kind of like, this is like Star Wars Episode 1 Phantom Menace, where Qui-Gon Jinn is like, let me teach the boy. He has his quarterback. But the thing is, like, he's going to be excited. I think he's going to do well. He has no expectation. Go out there, command the offense, operate the offense well, pick the guys up. But also, it's like I'm sitting there and I'm thinking about the game. And if you're Jaxson Dart, all you got to do is just let it hang. Just go out there, play. You're going to make mistakes. It's just all about how the guys rally around. You see how he was in preseason. Guys jumping, they're chest pumping, they're doing everything. Like, just be excited. That's what people want to see.
Let me play his comments, and then Dan will get into it. Here was Jaxson Dart yesterday meeting with the press for the first time, talking about his mindset heading into his first start.
I don't really feel pressure. I feel like, pressure is given to those who play at a high level. And, the best players in the world are the ones that you are kind of involved with that word, pressure. Yeah, you just got to make sure that you're prepared every day because, just the questions and, the situations that are being put on the quarterback. When you're watching film, you got to know exactly what you're talking about. You got to be on your, point blank period.
So that's a pretty concise explanation of what he needs to do. Dan.
Yeah, he doesn't have a hindrance at quarterback anymore, Brian Daboll. He's got to go creator, essentially. I think the two things coming out of school that you loved about him are, one, his presence was elite. It was the best in the class. And then also his ability to be strong in the pocket was the best in the class. You go back to college, his elite presence down in the red zone against Georgia, and like it's 1, 2, 3, ball has to come out now versus tight coverage. That's NFL type of coverage. You got to have NFL type of placement in that. Did he do it in the preseason? Yeah, he saw that backside glance route. That ball's got to be placed right on that guy's face mask. He's going to have to move it in the front now that he's the starter. But that's the number one thing. The two thing was the pocket strength. Like when he moved in the pocket and dealt with the pressure, it was the best. And he didn't run when he wanted to. He ran when he had to. And he often was strong with how he moved and kept his eyes up. And it wasn't I'm athletic so I can just go make a play. It was I'm good enough to get away from the bad stuff and go make things into good. That's college. Did he do it in the pros? Where he's looking up top for a high-low, it's not there. And instead of just taking off because he can, climb the pocket, keep your eyes downfield, and so go see if you can make a play. And so you're seeing the things that I liked in college at least translate in the preseason. Different world than the regular season, but there's a lot athletically. That moment to me is everything with the neighbors jump. Like juice, energy, excitement, hope. There was Russell's a great player. It felt like a weight on the offense. This should be a rocket ship to their offense.
And that's the other piece of this. He's got Malik Neighbors. When all else fails, just throw it in his general direction and hope something good happens.
That's the break glass in case of emergency situation. But for Jaxson Dart, you want a spark. Because when you're in the huddle, players know. They know if they don't have a chance for a first down. They know if they don't have a chance to win. And that's what you're hoping to give the locker room. Like, hey, here's the guy that's going to show something. Just show a little bit in this game, and it's going to give him the hope and juice and energy.
I'd also say it's not just, hey, Malik's down there somewhere throwing the football. Like, they have to do a better job of getting Malik touches early in this game. They haven't thrown Malik Neighbors a screen. That's one of the dumbest things I've heard all season. He doesn't have a screen pass. And get him moving horizontally. It doesn't have to be just vertical, go route, let's go throw a one-on-one ball. He's more of a dynamic player.
They've got a guy to go to. They're going up against an unbelievably good defense with a head coach who has, throughout his time in the NFL, destroyed rookie quarterbacks. So they're throwing him right